A very beautiful morning to you once again. Welcome. Thank you for joining us on Perspectives Unlimited on Wales Radio 89.3 FM, your preferred wholesome radio. Perspectives Unlimited is that platform where we go beyond the news to help you make sense of some of the stories across our various national dailies, and a bit to ensure that we keep you abreast about happenings around Nigeria. My name is Toluwaleke Alli. You can watch us live on Facebook this morning at Wales Radio 893 FM fan page, at Wales Radio 893 FM fan page. Watch us live on Facebook and on YouTube as well at Wales Radio 89.3 FM on YouTube, at Wales Radio 89.3 FM on YouTube. So we are currently live on Facebook and on YouTube. And as we go on the show, feel free to drop your comments right on our Facebook page, and I'll be sure to take every of the comments. Together with our analysts in the studio this morning, like I said, we'll analyze some of the stories across our various national dailies. But first, let's check out the front pages of some of our national dailies this Wednesday morning. From the front page of the Nation newspaper this morning, bring up alternative policies. Presidency tells critics. And it has a rider, federal government cautious on state police takeoff. That story can be found on page 4 of the Nation newspaper this morning. Supporters hopeful as Fubara meets Tinubu, and that's on page 2. President hosts Governor Adeleke, brother Davido. That's also on page 2 of the Nation newspaper this morning. Moving on to the front page of the Guardian newspaper. Telcos kick as banks plan USSD fee deduction from end users. I'll take that again. Telcos kick as banks plan USSD fee deduction from end users. And that's on page 15 of the Guardian newspaper. Mokwa flood. Federal government blames blocked tributary climate change. And that's on page 30. Crisis looms as APC as party rejects automatic ticket bid for aspirants. And that's on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. New terror group Mahmuda kills 3 in Kwara. And that's on page 3. Poll rates Tinubu government high as opposition critics disagree. And that's on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. To read more on the stories, check out the Guardian newspaper for this morning. Moving on to the Daily Trust newspaper. Mokwa, bodies of 7 children recovered as search continues. And that's on page 10. Army chief relocates to Benue as 270 killed in 2 months. That's on page 6 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Rivers, Fubara visits Tinubu in Lagos. That's on page 5. No automatic tickets for National Assembly members. And that's according to APC. The story begins on the front page and continues on pages 3 and 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Arafat, Saudi warns pilgrims of heat wave. That's on page 32. On page 20 of the Daily Trust newspaper, parents seek alternatives over prolonged FCT teachers strike. Sand heap collapses, kills 11 Almajiri in Kaduna. And that's on page 8. Tinubu Matawale should be commended for reinvigorated Navy. And that's according to Deyemi Saka. And the story is on page 14 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Moving on to the front page of the Vanguard newspaper now. USSD charges telcos threaten to withdraw services over banks' misinformation. And that's on page 19. COAS Oluyede relocates to Benue with PSOs. And it has a rider, Killer Herders, creating community of widows. Benue women cry out. And that's on, the rider is on page 7, while the main story is on page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper. Anti-kidnapping protest on easy calm. Soldiers, police take over Abraka. And that's on page 12. Insecurity. Tinubu Matawale should be commended for reinvigorating Navy. And that's according to Saka. The story is on page 10 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Niger flood, 1,249 communities in 30 states, FCT, at risk. That's according to the federal government, and it has a couple of riders. Says no water was released from Kainji Jeba dams. Notes flood caused by heavy rainfall, heightened by global warming. States take up federal government's challenge. And, there's an image of the high flood risk states, including Abia, Adamawa, Akwa Ibom, Anambra, Bauchi, Bayelsa, Benue, Borno, Cross River, Delta, Ebonyi, Edo, FCT, Gombe, Imo, Jigawa, Kebbi, Kogi, Kwara, Lagos, Nasarawa, Niger, Ogun, Ondo, Osun, Oyo State here, Rivers, Sokoto, Taraba, Yobe, and Zamfara State. So these are the states that the federal government has listed as high flood risk states. And the story is on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Presidency to Afenifere, Tinubu's economic reforms, painful but necessary. And that's on page 10. Federal government saves 12 million girls from cervical cancer in 9 months. And that is according to the federal government, and it's on page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. All right, finally to the front page of the Punch newspaper. Flood alert. NEMA deploys teams in 15 high-risk states. And it has a rider as agency warns of fresh heavy flooding. Federal government insists on evacuation. Niger recovers more corpses. And that's on page 2 of the Punch newspaper this morning. And those are the stories across some of the front pages of our national dailies this morning. Joining me on the show this morning is our in-house analyst, Chukwuemeka Munachi. So good morning, Chukwuemeka.
Good morning, Tolu.
All right. Let's begin with, this story that cuts across a majority of our dailies this morning, but I'll be reading from the Punch newspaper. Flood alert. NEMA deploys teams in 15 high-risk states. The National Emergency Management Agency says it has deployed its officials in 15 high-risk states to further enlighten residents on the impending floods and the need to relocate from flood-prone areas, saying victims of the tragedy in Mokwa, Niger State, lived in gully areas and were caught unawares by the recent flooding disaster in the state, despite official warnings. Head of the press unit at NEMA, Manzo Ezekiel, said the states include Kogi, Imo, Enugu, Adamawa, Taraba, Borno, Zamfara, Katsina, and the Federal Capital Territory. He lamented that victims of the May 23 flooding built their residences in gully areas prone to floods. The flood in Mokwa, a commercial hub in Niger State, claimed over 200 lives, with hundreds of others declared missing. The rainy season usually runs from April to October in Nigeria, and last Wednesday, the Nigerian Meteorological Agency issued a forecast of heavy storms in Abuja and 14 of the country's 36 states, including Niger. Now, this is also coming as a story in the Vanguard newspaper pointed out that 1,249 communities in 30 states and the Federal Capital Territory are at risk, which is according to the federal government. And the federal government, raised alarm about these 30 states and the Federal Capital Territory at risk of flooding this year, which unfortunately this is coming after several houses have been washed away. Thousands are already homeless in Niger State presently. But, I already mentioned the states earlier, but they include Abia, Adamawa, Akwa Ibom, Anambra, Bauchi, Bayelsa, Benue, Cross River, Delta, Ebonyi, and Edo, Gombe, also Imo, Jigawa, Kebbi, Kogi, Kwara, Lagos, Niger, Nasarawa, Ogun, Ondo, Oshun, Oyo, Rivers, Sokoto, Taraba, Yobe, Zamfara, and the Federal Capital Territory. This alarm was raised by the Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation. Every year, Nigeria always has to deal with floods, but it feels like every year we deal more with, compensating rather than doing more in the aspect of ensuring that we put in different measures in place to curb this flooding from happening.
Yeah, it is good. We are starting this conversation this morning with the recent flooding in Niger State. You said every year we keep going around the circle. That is how we've been living as a people. We are very, very reactive. We are not preventive. Preventive measures, we don't know how to do it. We are reactive because we don't sit down as a people to plan ahead. That is why our landscape lacks visionary leaders. Because statesmen, when you have, there's a world of difference between a statesmen and politicians. Statesmen think of next generation. They think of, according to James Freeman Clark, they think of what happens next. Politicians are always fixated, obsessed with next election. So we've been having politicians in Nigeria. Statesmen are lacking. We stopped having statesmen when Toluwaleke and Zeke and all of them passed away. All that came after them are just politicians, and that's why we're in a mess. Because you keep on having a statesman will look at the next thing. What is the next thing we are going to do to secure our space? Politicians don't think that way. What all they are thinking about is that how do I secure another 8 years? How do I secure another 4 years? What happens to the citizens is not their concern. Now, look at what is going on in Nigeria today as far as flooding is concerned. NIMET, I give kudos to them because they have issued repeatedly warnings upon warnings upon warnings upon warnings. But saying what they have been saying is like waxing a record or singing for the deaf. When you sing for a deaf, when you go to a studio and you want to wax a record and you want to sell it in a community of deaf people, nobody will buy it because they don't know what you are saying. That is exactly our position. They have been saying many things. I've been reading it. We've been seeing them shouting. Now, the rains have come, and we have engaged in fire brigade measures, building bridges that have collapsed. Why didn't we attend to them before the rain came? Now, look at what we are doing now. And you know why I lay emphasis so much on Oyo State? Because this is where we are domiciled. Now that the rain has not fully come, what is the Oyo State government doing? The World Bank bridges, sponsored bridges, and we have done, are we maintaining them? Because it's not enough to build. Maintenance is not in our culture. Now, I'm so happy with what Lagos State government came up with yesterday. But that is not enough because we would have started this thing a long time ago. They came up with environmental violation laws. They stated a lot of things. If you drop things into drainages, you pay 250,000 or you go to jail for 3 months. We would have been saying this a long time ago before this rain. Now that we are doing it, these are all fire brigade measures because they are politicians. They are not thinking ahead. All they are after is how do I remain in power? Tolu, our people we are facing a lot. This rain that is coming, people are going to blame government, but people always are the culprit. Even if government put a lot of things in place, what have we done as a people? Now, you know full well that if you go and you cause blockage in the drainages, you will cause flooding. What do we do in Oyo State? I'm concerned about Oyo State because this is where we live. And Oyo State is not even a coastal state. But because we have already created a problem for ourselves, that's why this flooding will come. We have blocked the drainages. We drop things indiscriminately anywhere. We don't care. And when it comes, we call it national disaster. It's not natural disaster. It's man-made disaster. Oyo State government should now do the needful. I know that national orientation agencies in Oyo State, they let them come up with jingles. Go to different radio stations in Oyo State in local languages and English and let them sensitize the people that, look, if you are throwing things inside the gutter, you are blocking the drainages, you are likely going to, and it will not just end like that. Let there be a penalty because if in a state, in a society where there are no consequences for going against the law, people will not learn. The Bible said that the children's teeth are set on, because the fathers have eaten sour grape, because the children's teeth are set on edge. Because iniquity is not punished, the heart of man is set on doing evil. If there is no consequences for breaches, people will not learn. If there was a time in this Oyo State we had a environmental, if they catch you, they judge you immediately and fine you. Those things have stopped. Why? Because implementation has always been our problem. We will start immediately. Everybody will start running up and down. After some time, it will fizzle out. It should not, because we have not learned a lesson. Nimet has won again. 30 states. No state is left again. Huh? When you say 30 states, how many left? It's almost all Nigeria. We must own our action. That's what I keep repeating. We must not wait for government to do everything for us. When you are coming to work early in the morning, you see people in. That's why I said it's not just driving about flashy cars that makes you a sophisticated person or civilized person. No, you see them parking their cars to drop something inside the drainages and in the bridges. What now? If rain comes, those people living in that environment, you have created a problem for them. We must do the needful. Government will do its own. The citizens must wake up. We are not there. The government will not come and put food in our mouth. We should look at our environment. Look at people living in the Bere, people living in the interior. Look, go to those places and see how human beings live. Is it government that will come there and tell them that, look, you should not block this thing? It's not the duty of government. You already know. But government should do something by still putting jingles. A place like West Radio, let them bring it here. We will play it for them in local languages so that everybody will know that, look, you should not be doing this. I know that if 10 people hear it, at least 5 people will change their mind and stop doing it. And that's progress. So we must have we must be more progressive in our approach to issues in Nigeria. We must not always be reacting. We must be preventive.
All right. This is also a wake-up call to everybody out there. Understand that, throwing dirt in waterways and ensuring that just do your best to put away flood. You don't have to throw your dirt in waterways, throw your dirt in canals and all of that. Let us understand that at this present time we're experiencing a critical condition, which is unfortunately not only limited to Nigeria, because climate change is all over. It's all over.
Do you know the reason for climate change? I look at them, I laugh. All these people that are, you can.
Okay, the phone lines to call 0916-893-1000, 0916-893-2000. Hello, good morning.
This is Miriam from Odejai.
Welcome to the show, Miriam.
Thank you. As regards flooding, the state government really needs to be proactive, especially when it comes to matters that concerns the people. Flood would definitely cause loss of lives and property, which is why it's so important for them to dredge our waterways and also sensitize the people on how to dispose our refuse, and also they should create a means of disposal. And I urge the residents to please stop getting their properties anywhere close to the river, all in the name of the property is cheap. Because at the end of the day, the aftermath effect is not always friendly. So both the government and we, the residents, should please do the needful. Everything is not on the government. We also have our quotas to contribute. And I urge the state government to please be proactive. We need peace and not be stealing, loaning, debt, like it's getting so uncomfortable. So please, they should do the needful.
All right, thank you very much for calling on the show this morning.
Tolu, you mentioned something about climate change. Climate change is the consequence for violating the earth. When you go against nature, you pay a price. Nature does not forgive. You understand? Nature will never forgive humanity for violating the earth. If you go to somewhere, if you look at the creation, how God created everything, and man went on a destruction spree. You if you go to the Niger Delta and see the ecological suicide that is going on in that region, you see the discretion of the earth. You cry, because this earth ought to be our mother, because we are standing on the earth, and the earth is everything about humanity. Now we cut down trees without any. Look at the deforestation. You cut down trees, you eat up the shrubs, and you think that the earth will just fold its hands. It will come against you. And the civilized world, with all their technology, they are emitting a lot of things into the space. It is even Africa that is not even emitting anything, that is paying the consequences. And that's why Africans are asking for something like a compensation. Because we are not. How many things do you have in your house? Freezer or anything? These things they are always consequences, but we are not taking care of the earth. We are only exploiting it. And that's why environmentalists are crying on a daily basis that the earth is getting weaker and weaker. Ozone layer has been depleted because of man's activities on earth. God will not do it for us. He put us here for a reason, and we have destroyed it, and we are paying the price. That's why this flooding all over the place. If you go to the Western world, you see cold hurricane this, hurricane that, everything, because earth is crying out that it has been violated. You can't go scot-free when you violate the earth. All these summits they are holding across the globe cannot save the earth, because unless we go back to the original plan of God and begin to do what we ought to do to preserve the earth, we keep on having problems in the climate.
All right, be a part of the conversation this morning, 0916-893-1000. Hello.
Ma.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, ma. This is calling from Alli.
Welcome to the show, Ruth.
Thank you, ma. Now, as regards the issue of flooding, it's high time the state mentioned start taking proactive steps now. So if they have not, they should please do the needful on time. by dragging rivers and streams, because they know what to do, but they won't do it until all forces and circumstances come. They should please learn from what happened in Niger State, and I will keep urging the Oyo State governor should please not to relent in dragging our rivers and streams, because the Buhari story has taken has really helped a lot. And we people too, we should please compliment the efforts of the government by not dropping waste on the water, by not dropping refuse on the waterways. So God continue to help us. Good morning, ma'am.
All right, good morning. Thank you so much for your contribution this morning. Now let's move on to the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. Benue killings, Army chief moves in, deploys more troops, logistics. That is to Benue State. And the police relocate area commanders, tactical teams to Akpa and Gwe local government areas. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, on Tuesday moved to Benue State in a strategic move to address the incessant killings of innocent villagers by suspected herders and military groups in the state. A source at the Army headquarters in Abuja said that the COAS was concerned about the killings of innocent citizens and the displacement of families from their homes in the state. It was learned that Oluyede was accompanied by principal staff officers and other top officers at the Army headquarters. Is moving to the state for assessment of the security situation. And also, the source also disclosed that the COAS has ordered more deployment of troops and logistics to the state to hunt down armed groups terrorizing the people of Benue State, which, is another story. This is coming also as in Kwara State, the new group that just broke out, the Mahmuda, as well, attacked in some parts of Kwara State as well. But again, in the Punch newspaper, the federal government, said that, according to the minister, he said that the federal government is battling Boko Haram insurgents in the northeast. That's the Minister of Defense now, Mohammed Badaru. He revealed that the resurgence of Boko Haram in the northeast, particularly in Borno State, is part of the insurgents' renewed efforts to destabilize the Sahel states of Nigeria, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger Republic. And he, however, said that the federal government is dealing with the challenge.
Thank you very much for, you see, you just said, you heard it out there that in a strategic move, he has moved to, that's a strategic failure. Let me tell you something. It's still reactive approach that we use in all things concerning our country. Why didn't they go there when Benue people were shouting? Why did they wait for a community of widows to be created before the strategic move? What is strategic move in COS as moving to Benue? What is a person, is an individual, and now you are deploying more troops. Why didn't you do the needful before this carnage escalated to this level? Nigeria is a funny country, very funny, and they come up and say all these things on the pages of newspapers. Any move they're making, they come and advertise it. You think those headers will fold their hands and be waiting for you in your strategic move? It is happening again in Kwara. Mahmuda people are now destroying that axis. There will be no strategic move. Until they occupy territories, then we come into with a strategic move. This is a strategic failure. There's no moving. Human beings, lives have been lost. And you are moving to, what is it moving there to do? Platitudes. We have come with more. Why didn't you put more soldiers there when this thing, we are just at a crèche level? Now he has reached university level and you are making a strategic move. But anyway, I sympathize with our military. I sympathize with them because they are exhausted. A lot of things are going on in their minds. You understand? Nigeria, their duty is to protect the territorial integrity of this country. And the military came out to tell us that these invaders are outsiders. Why did they stop them? Why didn't they stop them from coming to Nigeria? Why have they not declared their strategic move on them for a long time? Why?
Okay. We're going to continue this. We have to go on a commercial break now. And when we get back, of course, the conversation continues. It's still Perspectives Unlimited on Wells Radio 89.3 FM.
preferred wholesome radio. Give your child the gift of excellence at Juniors International School, Alafin Avenue, Oluyole Estate, Ibadan. Are you searching for a school where top quality education meets care, love, and safety? A school where skilled professionals ignite young minds in an environment that stimulates learning, creativity, and moral growth? Do you desire a school that offers rich academic curricula designed to prepare your child for local and international examinations, opening doors to future success both within and outside Nigeria? At Juniors International School, we don't just educate, we discover and nurture each child's unique aptitude while molding them into highly productive global citizens driven by godly principles. Join us on the journey of raising tomorrow's leaders. Admission test into pre-nursery to year 5 holds on Friday, 1st August 2025. Venue: Juniors International School, Alafin Avenue, Oluyole Estate, Ibadan. Time: 9 a.m. Admission forms are available online at www.juniorsinternationalschool.com or at the school premises. Juniors International School, Center of Excellence. Your gateway to academic excellence begins at Christ Ambassadors International College. Christ Ambassadors International College is a co-educational secondary school offering full boarding facilities and committed to nurturing students grounded in godly values and distinguished by academic excellence. A dynamic learning environment is enriched with high-quality resources, a hybrid curriculum, a state-of-the-art CBT center, and a modern multipurpose hall designed to transform students' learning, assessment, and personal growth. If you missed the last opportunity to sit for our entrance examination, another opportunity awaits. The next entrance examination is scheduled for Tuesday, 10th June 2025 at 9 a.m. at our Alafin Avenue, Oluyole Estate premises in Ibadan. For inquiries, please visit our website at christambassadorscollege.com or call 0704 519 6127. 89.3 FM, your preferred wholesome radio.
The Financial Services Regulation Coordinating Committee, FSRCC, in collaboration with the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, wishes to draw the attention of the public to the activities of illegal financial operators, IFOs, which threaten public trust and the stability of the Nigerian financial system. The general public is hereby advised to refrain from dealing with unlicensed financial operators who deceive individuals with unrealistically high investment returns. Verify the licensing status of such schemes on this website: www.cbn.gov.ng, www.nicom.gov.ng, www.pencom.gov.ng, www.sec.gov.ng, www.fsrcc.gov.ng. To report any suspicions of illicit financial activities, call CBN 0817-665-7060, 0707-338-4828, SEC 0209-462-1168. Announcer, FSRCC.
All right, welcome back. This is still Perspectives Unlimited on Wales Radio 89.3 FM. So you were saying something.
Yes, I was saying something that look at what has been going on in the Sahel region, where there is responsive and responsible leadership. We would have prepared for the fallouts of what will come out from that Sahel region and be very, very proactive. Now we didn't do the homework very well. Now these people are coming into Nigeria with all kinds of firearms coming from Yemen, as far as Yemen, Libya, and so many things. And Nigerians are now paying the price. And now we look at what all the the flashpoints across the country, because now there is and these non-state actors are exploiting the social fractures that we have in Nigeria. That's what they are exploiting, and that is why they operate at ease. I was saying something that the military is already overwhelmed. I sympathize with them, because if you listen to what so many of them are saying about not giving sophisticated weapons to go and face these people, you really say sorry to them. But the most important thing is this: our leaders must know that if there are no people, there will be no leadership. Nigerians must be protected. At times, when I look at what is going on in our country, I begin to call to question the humanity of our leaders. Because we cannot continue killing people in a country that is not at war. Do you think, Lord, Tolu, that this kind of thing should happen in a country where we have a standing army, people are coming into your country to kill your citizens, and all you are having is that you are moving strategically? How come people are the borders? Who allow these people to come in? But you know what? Just like what is playing out in America right now, during the time of Joe Biden, he threw open the borders of America. People started migrating, people started coming in. And if you look at some of the people that are causing a lot of things in America, they are these people that came through the Biden policy. Don't forget that Buhari came up with such a policy, visa on arrival. People were trooping here. Many people were invited to come into our country. Look at the fallout of that policy. People, you go to Mobile now. Some of the guys that are riding Okada, they are not even they are from Sudan. How do they manage to come here? And one thing about Nigeria is that it's like there is no barrier. You can enter and do whatever you like. You can stay in a country that knows what it's doing. You enter there, they monitor you, they know you. Nigeria, anybody comes in here, you are free. That's why Trump said that it's only hellfire that has no border. Do we have border in Nigeria? And who are those at the border? How come these people are coming in droves? People from the southeast cried out over the week that almost 85% of that area has been occupied by these people that nobody knows where they are coming from. Are they spirits? They are not spirits. They pass through borders. Who are those at the borders? Why are they not sanctioned? How come these people are coming in? And Buhari came up with a shoot at sight. Anybody seen with AK-47? How many people have been shot? Where did they get the AK-47? AK-47 is not something you buy at the counter. It costs millions to procure such arms. So how come Nigeria is sitting on something we cannot explain here? And the earlier our leaders understand the seriousness, the gravity of the problem, they will wake up. Because this thing we are looking at now, happening in Benue, and we down here, we are seeing it as is happening in Benue. Benue is still far away. It's spreading. Where are they coming from? Why are they not picking them up? Who are they? Now you have gone to Benue. Watch and see if anybody will be arrested. Nobody has ever been arrested. Why is it that nobody? Is there something they know which we ordinary Nigerians don't know? They should tell us.
In the Vanguard newspaper, the former Chief of Army Staff, retired Lieutenant General Tuko Buratai, said that he's optimistic that the security situation in Nigeria would improve in the next 2 years.
How long? How many people will die before it improves?
Well, he said in the next 2 years.
Next 2 years. How many people will be killed? Look, he's saying this because he's protected. If his family is in the theater of operation, will he be saying this rubbish? He won't be saying it in the next 2 years. So people will be dying. We should wait for the next 2 years. Just like IMF has told us that it will take 10 or 15 years for the economy to rebound. So we should fold our hands and be waiting. In the next 2 years, it is easier to say such things because their relations have not been kidnapped or killed. In the next 2 years, the government. Why are you in government? You saw the problem. You say you want to do it. People voted for you, and you came in and you are telling us why not hit the ground running? That is what I'm saying here. Why must we wait for the next 2 years? So people should be slaughtered, and we say, okay, they have told us in the next 2 years, so let's wait. Wait for what? It's about human life. They should do the needful. That's what I'm saying. The government must bring all the instruments of cohesion at their disposal and face these people. This as the headers, they have told us that they are foreigners. Why should foreigners be coming here and be killing people anyhow? And you say we should wait for 2 years. I don't blame him, because he's in a secure place and be telling Nigerians to wait for the next 2 years. Next 2 years, they tell. Do you know the time I started hearing house for all in the year 2000? That was in the 80s. I was a young man then. I was thinking that, so house for all in the now we are in 2000. Where is the house for all? It's a mirage. That's this thing is saying. It's like a promise made over a bottle of beer. It cannot be. Yes. So we should wait for the next 2 years for security to improve. Why not improve now? It's about life.
He is foreseeing it.
He's not foreseeing anything.
He said every country has its own peculiar issue.
Forget about every country has its own peculiar. This is a statement of failure. Admission of inability to do something. Every country has its own peculiar. Must our own continue to be peculiar every time? That's the question. Every year we are solving a peculiar. Why should we always be peculiar? Why can't we solve one problem and face another one and know that this one is peculiar? Why poverty is peculiar? That's what they are telling us. Hunger is peculiar. Everything is peculiar. Why must it be peculiar? What is the peculiarity in all this problem we are having in Nigeria? They should stop telling Nigerians something that is not as needed at this point in time. What we need in Nigeria today is solution, not a peculiarity of the situation. It's peculiar. So if it's happening in Ghana, it should happen here. Is it happening in Ghana? Have you ever read that the headers are killing people in Ghana, as in Ghana? Have you heard that headers are killing people in Togo? Have you heard that headers are killing people in Cameroon? Cameroon here. Have you heard it? He says it's peculiar. You don't blame him. The state is protecting him. That's why it's peculiar.
Be a part of the conversation this morning. The phone lines 0916 893 1000, 0916 893 1000 or 0916 893 2000, 0916 893 2000. You can also call 0915 333 4893. 0915 333 4893. Drop your comment on Facebook at Wells Radio 893 FM fan page. At Wells Radio 893 FM fan page. Drop your comments right there, and we'll be sure to take your comments this morning. On WhatsApp, you can drop your messages on 0915 4999 893. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Wells Radio.
Good morning.
Yeah, my name is Salami. I'm calling from my water.
Welcome to the show, sir.
Madam. Well done, ma. Good morning, Mr. Chukwemeka.
Good morning, Salami.
Hello?
Hello, we can hear you. Please turn down the volume on your radio set, please.
Okay, I'm coming. Is it better now?
Yes, it is. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, madam. You see, for me, that the Chief of Army Staff has relocated to Benue State is commendable, but for me, I don't think it's very necessary. Okay, now that he has relocated to Benue State, you now realize that maybe if the heat is too much for those guys, they will move to Plateau. Borno one is still there. You have them in Zamfara, them all over. For me, I believe the Chief of Army Staff can be even in Lagos and still be on top of the situation everywhere in the country. People will have the willingness to do these things. It's not rocket science, for God's sake. As the former President Toluwaleke once told us something. He said, these Fulani people, there was a time they dominated the Central African Republic until the nationals in that country chased them out. We know where these people are coming from. They're not even Nigerians. When is our Nigerian leader going to have the courage, the effrontery to confront these people and send them to where they belong? Of course, we know they have their aiders in Nigeria. We have the likes of Buhari and the rest who are protecting them. That is the truth. But now, when are we going to have a leader that will be so bold enough to confront, to tackle them head on? We cannot be speaking grammar every day on radio like this, whereas some people are suffering. Honestly speaking, in fact, may God save Nigeria from leadership affliction, but it's getting too much. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your contribution this morning, Mr. Salami. 0916-893-1000, 0916-893-2000, or 0915 333 4893. 0915 333 4893, 0916 893 1000, 0916 893 2000. Drop your comment on Facebook at Wells Radio 893 FM fan page, at Wells Radio 893 FM fan page, or your WhatsApp messages on 0915 4999 893, 0915 4999 893. Let's move on to another story. USSD charges telcos threaten to withdraw services over banks' misinformation. The telecom operators in Nigeria have threatened to withdraw network support for banks' unstructured supplementary services data, USSD, following what they described as gross misinformation of subscribers on the mode of deduction of transaction fees. The USSD, commonly known as bank transfers, is done through short codes on mobile phones. And yesterday, the banks issued a notice to their customers that the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, has directed them to stop deducting charges for USSD transactions directly from the customer's account, and that telecoms will now deduct the charges from the user's mobile airtime.
Okay.
So this notice was what brought swift reaction by the telcos who are under the umbrella body of the Association of Licensed Telecom Operators in Nigeria, and said that the bank's notice is a gross misinformation deliberately asked to suit their selfish interests, and hence they threatened to withdraw network support to the bank's USSD services.
So what actually are they saying?
That they're supposed to not. I think their own take is that it shouldn't be that. In their own words, they said the information was not even from NCC. That it was supposed a joint agreement between NCC and the Central Bank okay. Of Nigeria.
So the question now is, who will actually deduct the money?
So now the back and forth is on,
or the banks, because they are confusing Nigerians.
Exactly. So the back and forth is on the fact that banks have are yet to clear the USSD debts that they owe to telcos.
Okay.
So now NCC is saying that according to banks, NCC said that when you recharge now, rather than taking that amount from your account, they remove it from the airtime that you recharge. Of course, it means that. So if you're recharging and then the amount that you're being charged is 6 naira, then it means if you're recharging 100 naira, you get 600 naira, 6 naira short of airtime
because of the transaction.
Transaction.
So now all these things is all about Nigerians, more financial pressure. And these two groups, banks and the NCC and telcos, are now battling. Who will feast first on these people?
Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning.
Yeah, this is Benga Mario calling from Apata. Can you hear me?
Welcome to the show, Mr. Benga Mario.
Thank you very much. God bless you. Now, I think on the last point you are trying to talk about, let me shed some light on it. Actually, it's not a big deal when the NS at the end said they are going to come in with the charges on USS, even USS to make it a transaction. It's like those bankers, because normally before now, you want to make a transaction on your phone when you are using the USS. The bank will charge you maybe I think 6 naira or thereabout when you are making a transaction. And at the end of the day now, but a percentage of that fund will be transferred to the government when you pay, when you are paying the kind of tax or whatever. Now, I think the banks now they are defaulting, remitting the part of the government share. So what the telcos is doing now, sorry, what NCC is now doing is that once you come up with a kind of idea, once the transaction is being done, when you use the USS or use the mobile app, they will just be bonded by the state and not the bank now. You understand? So it's not a new thing, it's not something that people can't pay for safety, just a normal stop. Instead of banks to be collecting, deducting the charges, if it's naira or thereabouts, it's going to be NC that will be monitoring that now, and they'll be anything they want to cover for the government. I think that is just. Hello, are you with me?
Yes, we are.
Yeah, so that's just it. On the issue of the insecurity, former Army Chief Duata said it's going to take 2 years before they could wipe out Army to wipe out bandits in the country. And my take is this: Mr. Chukwemeka, don't be perturbed with what he said, because it's still going to extend much more than 2 years. So even the 2 years that he had off, it's still going to be extended. And I want to ask you what is the reason why. The reason is this: politicians are like what this guy said on Channel TV some few days ago. This sort of senator, I forgot his name, if I recollect, I'll say that on the line. He said that politicians are behind banditry in the country, and those politicians, they are spending their money, their huge money, to finance those bandits. He said even we are having the kind of collaborators within the security personnel in the country. And remember, recollect, there was a time that I think World Bank or a US, they sent a name of bandit sponsorers in the country. They send it to the federal government, and as we speak, how many politicians have been held or have been arrested in connection with bandits? Nobody has been get with. No single person has been arrested. I remember this is a country that when bandits kill or an herdsman kill during Buhari regime, a Fulani man will kill and maim innocent Nigerians, and the person will be arrested, and before you know it, within a day or 2 days, such a killer will be released, because there'll be a kind of call from above saying, is our whole living, and it goes cost free. So when it goes on and on like that, it will be hard for you to see an end to banditry and killings of innocent Nigerians in the country. Not until Nigerian leaders are able to leave to hold the killer politicians that are responsible for supporting bandits in the country. When they are not able to tame or to arrest and prosecute an adder or anyone who has killed an innocent Nigeria, or when Nigerians are not able to fish out the perpetrators of connivance within military and military personnel that are conniving with bandits, I'm telling you, we will not have an end to insecurity in the country. So the 2 years that Brother has just said, I think to me it's just a child's play. So not until all those things I've said are being done, I'm telling you, we might not have an headway for saving the message of insecurity in Nigeria. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Benga Mario. Okay, so another issue that I would like us to, quickly take a look at before we leave the show. Next week, June 12 is Democracy Day. And on this day, a particular group has, taken it as a day to protest. Hello?
Good morning. This is West Radio.
Good morning. Please turn down the volume on your radio set.
Okay. This is Mr. George. I'm calling you from Ologwa.
Welcome to the show, Mr. George.
I'm very happy the way Chukwemeka reacted to the issue of these deductions, showing confusion about how the whole issue was brought to us. And how do we now check if there's not going to be double deductions from this issue of money? Since the two groups are fighting who is to collect this and who is to collect that, how are we going to be sure of what they are going to? Because deducting something right from your airtime, it's not easy to monitor. You may just wake up one day, you recharge 500 naira or 1,000 naira, and money has been taken from it, and you might not know it. They should please settle these things, because we are heavily changed in all these things. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, sir.
We are talking about this before.
Yes.
The problem we are going to have double deductions, because the banks will take their own.
The NCC
will take their own, and most Nigerians will not even know what is going on. There will be double deductions. Just watch what will happen after this.
Okay. So for the 12th of June, a nationwide protest has been organized. I just wanted to, quickly mention what does this mean?
You see, Tolu, I will keep on saying it that I don't, in the present circumstances we have found ourselves as Nigerians, I don't believe in. There's no amount of protest that will change the narrative. You just make noise.
Would this not result to violence happening on that day?
No, I'm coming. There is no amount. I'm not supporting protest. There's no amount. You protest. Okay, will you go to a community where everybody is deaf, and you go there, you say you're organizing a concert? Even if they come and they're looking at you, do they know what you are saying? They don't know what, because they're comfortable. They don't know what. They can't hear what you are saying. Our leaders, they can't hear what Nigerians are saying. So, and I don't want Nigerians to be brought out to be killed, because look at the loyalty of the security operatives are not to Nigerians but to the leaders. And leaders are so tensed up. They know that the country is not okay. So whatever anybody comes out to say, they will see it as an aggression against them, and people will be killed. That's why, for now, Nigerians should suspend protest, because it will not bring anything tangible. I participated in protests as a youth. I took part in many protests I cannot count. That's where I met Beko Ransom Kuti for the first time. When we marched on Alausa, you understand, it was alive then. I was a youth. We participated because we saw the need to protest. And those days were not like now in Nigeria. There's no need for people to protest in Nigeria today. Let us watch. According to Toluwaleke, say don't look. If you bring people to the street to protest, people will be killed, because the security operatives are not for Nigerians. They are for those in power. So anything that will upset the apple cart, they see it as an aggression. Even if they see it, but the right to protest is a necessity in democracy. And don't forget that we are not a democracy. We are a civilian administration.
All right, thank you so much for coming on the show this morning.
Thank you for having me, Tolu. May God save Nigeria.
All right, Adeomi Kazim on Facebook. Kadika says, good morning. Well done from New Garage. Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone who has been a part of the show today. As I would always say, wherever it is that you find yourself, always do your best to put Nigeria out there in good light. God bless you. God bless Nigeria.